Hello?
Hello, my brother.
Hello?
Hello, my brother. How are you?
Wow, finally, I'm able to reach you. Thank goodness.
How are you?
I'm fine. Is everything okay? I've been trying to reach you like 3 days now. I know it's a little bit hard, but this is just, uncommon times. I felt so worried not able to reach you. Everything okay?
Everything is fine. All is good.
I know I had to tell you to find a place where there's network. We've been chatting back and forth. What's going on? Why has the network been this bad? It's never been this bad. What's happening?
Well, that's where we find ourselves these days now. You understand? Because, come to think of it, this is supposed to be something we all consume with ease. But when you start having issues with services, it brings about a point where you start wondering about where we are headed to, where are we coming from. So it's just a new narrative now because things are not going the way they should go.
Okay, all right. See, I know I'm calling from the United States. It's a little bit different here. You are in Nigeria. And let's step back a minute. What do you mean things are not where they should?
Of course, trust me. If I tell you things are not going the way they should go, because that is the narrative as it is now, you should understand that I have a little information because I reside in this nation, Nigeria, or let me say this contraction called Nigeria, because if you have the love of your neighbor at heart, I don't think for any reason you want anyone to suffer in the negative now for nothing. Most times to your own benefit, because while someone is in pain for whatever you're doing, it means you're gaining something and you're happy about it. So tell me, what kind of person
I'm gonna have to stop you right there because I think this is a little bit deeper than what I expected. So let's step back for a minute before we start blaming the government for everything. The government is not in charge of.
I'm not blaming the government.
So I know
the mindset of an individual.
I'm trying to get into the fact of why it took a long time to reach you. Let me put it for instance. A close friend of mine, I like to get in touch with you, but sometimes there are some more important phone calls that needs to be had between friends or families or things like that, whether they live in Nigeria or they live abroad. I believe it's what you're letting me know that it's becoming increasingly difficult to actually be able to have a clear connection when it comes to networking. And this is something that is being privatized, right, in Nigeria. The same thing is being privatized here. What is going on? I guess that's what I'm trying to get into. Why is it so bad to the fact that if I have to call somebody in other places or within the United States, I get in touch with them really quickly, Is it because of the kind of service we have in that country, or is it because what can you tell us about it? What's going on?
I get you. Now, in case you didn't notice, I was trying to give you a background. I quite appreciate the light you're trying to put on it. But well, the fact is this. I know where we are now as we speak. The environment where we are as we speak. I was giving you a background of the mindset of an average citizen has been so narrowed to thinking about him or herself first and alone, such that his comfort is so prioritized that he doesn't even care if he's smoking fish, for instance, now in his compound. He doesn't care about the after effect on his next door neighbor. If the smoke is choking that person there, if there's an asthmatic person there, he's not even factoring all of that into his actions. He's just doing it because he wants to see himself first. He's all about himself. So the background I was trying to give to you was to let you know that if someone is benefiting in your pain and he feels comfortable with it, they don't care. Such that person who works with an establishment for instance that provides service is ab initio taking money from you for you to enjoy the service. He's not even putting in the mechanism in place to, a kind of a feedback to even know whether you're enjoying the services. Have you ever gotten a call from any of these service providers in this country to say, hey, we're sampling your opinion. How have we been able to serve you well in terms of you subscribing to our network? You don't even bother. You make calls, you have drop calls, nobody cares because they see themselves first. The moment they are making money, the moment they are fine, they don't even check on you to know whether you're enjoying the services. These are the background knowledge I'm giving you about the Nigerian.
So, speaking of the background though, nobody ever called me. I subscribe to T-Mobile. I pay my bills every month. Nobody ever called me to ask whether or not the service is good. Of course, there's some drop calls, some here and there. But to your point, do you think that's a problem?
It is a problem.
How?
But I think it's relative now. The environment is different from where trade it will be, my brother. Because when you have a setting where things work, I've not lived abroad. I've been in Nigeria all my life. You understand? Over 4 decades now, over 40. You understand? So if I can tell you that in the last, let me narrow it down to when I became myself as an individual. Close to 30 years of my toiling, I have understood the fact that even if you get service in this country that you are paying for, you're not getting the full value of what you're paying for. That's the blatant truth. So your environment now is different from mine. So I've lived here, I can tell you about how it operates here. How it operates here is this. That was how I was giving you the background knowledge. That if that attitude of me, myself, and I alone is still in place, then you should expect that we'll have network issues. Network is just a pinch of salt in all of what we're going through here. But to God be the glory, we'll survive it.
I hear you. I think I understand, but it kind of seems as if we're trying to merge a round peg in a square hole. If you're thinking about it that way, or perhaps I'm the only one, perhaps I'm the one not thinking straight, because I kind of understand what you're saying when it comes to that. It kind of feels, correct me if I'm wrong, it felt that there's really nobody overseeing what the service company or telephone company is doing, whether or not they are treating... Hold on. Let me finish this thought. Whether or not they are treating their customer right. Because you're right. If I'm living in a country, a countryside, in the United States, they call it countryside, a place where you don't have a lot of network service. And network service here is actually the same thing like Nigeria. I remember you have MTN and Stop Glow and, have masked around, certain miles around. It's actually the same thing. And if you live in a countryside around here and you're not getting good network, you can actually, call the company and tell them, and at some point, if there are things they can do, whether they found out that the population calling them over and over again, they might decide to kind of create a mask in that area so that people in that location can actually get some better reception of service. And this comes by having somebody be, accountable for, in the sense that you can actually get in touch with somebody and get it. Is that kind of feedback you're referring to? Is it because there's really nobody overseeing some of this, or whether or not the work of overseeing it is not working well? What do you make of that?
All right, let me give you this straight now. I guess by the time I'm able to give you this perception, maybe you'll get it clearer. Now, if you're rendering service, for instance, I'm talking to you now like a layman. You're rendering service, And if your service has to take care of, say, 20 subscribers, and you discovered that people have also discussed with other family members or something, and in a way, they've increased the number of subscribers, don't forget, you had plans for 20. It simply means for them to have a smooth running of whatever they want to do with your network, it is just ideal that you expand your base.
That's right.
It is just the ideal thing. You don't need to go to school to understand that if you need 20, it's going to be airtight. But if you expand it to say 50, I don't want to use the technical words now, like expanding the broadband base and all of that. I don't want to go there because I'm not an expert in that area. But I'm just talking as an ideal subscriber. If you are not meeting up with the demand of your subscribers, the ideal thing to do is just to expand your base. You understand? And in expanding your base, it comes with a lot of things. I don't want to go there. But the background knowledge I was trying to give you was to sell the ideal mindset of an average citizen here who thinks about himself alone such that he can go to sleep whether the next door neighbor is not fine. That's just the mindset. Myself and I alone. It's the concept. It's the idea. You understand? So when people suffer in enjoying that services you're providing, because you think about yourself and I alone, you don't factor in their pains. You care less. And that's just the background knowledge I was trying to give you. That is the environment we find ourselves now, that if you check on value for value, you definitely want to make sure that people have perfect value. If not perfect, nobody is perfect, but at least you want to make sure that they have everything in place. Now, you said that compared to where you are, I've not been there before. But I'm only saying that where you are, people get value to a large extent for what they are paying for. Or else, people they'll sue you to court. They know they'll get nothing out of it. So we're just running on autopilot. I'm not trying to be derogatory about this issue.
No,
I do my own things to work.
Let us step back. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of the company, right? The company that are doing these things here, or the company that are doing it in Nigeria and stuff like that. Are you kind of putting it on them that this is actually something that they should be taking care of? Is that what I'm hearing from you?
I like where you're positioning. I like what you're trying to, the picture you're trying to paint. I am not just blaming them. I'm blaming the system that we run. Understand? If I come to your house, for instance, and you say that this house, the gate gets shut at 10, you clock out, or you clock in rather, you understand, at 10 p.m. And suddenly I started flouting that law or that rule. It is natural for you to call me to order. But if you indulge me, someday I will just stroll in at 1 a.m. because you've allowed it. So I'm talking about the systemic failure. Fortunately for me, I've convinced myself to a level that it is still failing. It is not yet failed. So there's hope. You understand? But it is a system where the service providers get away with anything they do. Nobody's holding them to account. You know why? Because some people are smiling while we are in this pain. It's simple. If you're not getting it, I can also paint another picture for you. I just told you that the network is just a pinch of what we're going through. And I'm not losing hope because I just know that one day we get the right person in place. When a new sheriff gets to town and decides to change the game, then we'll have a better narrative. Okay, for instance, I'm just digressing. Permit me to do that. Can I?
Sure, absolutely.
Now, I want to digress now. Talking about insecurity. A friend of mine was with me on Sunday, just a couple of days ago. He just arrived after 4 months in Borno State. He just arrived to see his family for 4 months. He was over there. And I asked him the question that, look, Are you telling me that for you guys to dissipate the energy and the strength of this bandit is a tall order? You know what he said? He smiled and he told me to my face, Alright, meaning, I said, it's business.
Interesting.
Can you imagine? And I kept mum for like, did you just say, did I hear you well? He said, my brother, it's business. He said, if it's not business, how will you be facing criminal elements? And you are getting the order of don't engage. And something within you is telling you, these are the people we want to end. So it is that bad. So I was unsettled with what he said. So I probed further. I said, are you telling me people are making money out of this? Such that the end is not even in sight? He said, yes. I said, but come to think of it, we just had our service chiefs change. I said, this is a new set of service chiefs. You know what he told me? He said, the replacement of the service chief or chiefs is not going to end the insurgency, banditry, and what have you. I said, why?
I understand, because at the end of the day, you know, this conversation is for us to kind of begin to open up. I want to believe that even if you are behind making sure that you ratify the process, or making sure that you adjust it very well, or making sure that you hold all of these people responsible, or these tech companies, service companies responsible, you will be experiencing the same thing as well. You are using the same cell phone like you. Are they not experiencing the same kind of hardship? Or are you saying that the money they're making trumps, you know, whatever it is, and they are willing to look away? Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Now, let me post it this way. You have, in Nigeria here, of course, you know we use Naira. And your account balance on your phone, your airtime balance, reads, say, 30 Naira. Naira is our currency here. Say 30 Naira. And you want to call someone, a loved one, and you got talking with that person. You exhaust your 30 Naira. You know, the normal thing to do is to want to seek for help. Help by recharging via your mobile account, or you borrow airtime to pay back when you recharge your phone subsequently. You know that is normal. There's a flow there.
So, to be clear,
hold on. I'm going somewhere.
No. I want to clarify.
I'm going somewhere.
You said I have 30 Naira and I expended the 30 Naira and I'm still not able to talk because every time I try to call, it gets cut off after 5 seconds and I get charged. I see hello. I see not. That's how it was gone, right? Is that what you're trying?
I'm going to talk with the story. You just follow me. Now, you know, it's going to be smooth when you buy your recharge airtime, or when you recharge your mobile network via your phone, because you want to continue the discussion that ended because you have just 30 Naira.
Right.
And everything goes smoothly. You know, you'll be happy that, okay, you're back. Let me call back. Let me call this guy again. Let me compute my gist with him. You know, you feel fine. Good. It gives you joy. You understand? Now, I want to now put that side by side, this other narrative. You now have that same 30 Naira, and you keep making efforts to make the call. The person picks up on the other side and is not hearing you. The network problem, the call drops. It drops. As it drops, you are depleting that 30 Naira.
Right.
And it drops to the extent that you couldn't pinpoint anything, or you couldn't have a conversation. Let me just put it that way. Up to the time that 30 Naira was existed. Do you know, you want to make sure you conclude that gist. You understand? You'll be recharging your phone with anger. You'll be recharging whether you're buying it physically or virtually. You'll be angry. Now, the two moods are different. So I just wanted to paint a picture for you to see. To those who are in the business, are they not feeling the same heat? That's your last question.
That's
are they
right.
not feeling the same heat? They are feeling the same heat, but they don't bother to correct it because they feel that is what obtains. So those who will go through with it too far, they are smiling to the back. If not, if they are feeling the heat, is it not ideal for them to get back to their office maybe after the public holiday of Easter celebration and say, hey guys, I was trying to make calls. I was trying to call my countryside to speak to my grandpa, to speak to my mom, and I exhausted my airtime without a definite talk. What happened? What went wrong? Let us come back to the table. Is it that we don't have a strong network there? Is it that people are not even getting services and they refuse to call because people are keeping quiet? Oh, now that I've experienced it, it means that 1 million of my customers are experiencing it. So they get back to the round table to say, okay, what went wrong at this time? Was it that base station servicing that environment went down at that time? And somebody somewhere was just doing something else instead of monitoring what he or she is supposed to do. So you can see the background that I gave to you earlier, that if you come back to the person, how do you see yourself? How do you see the service you're rendering? How do you see the opportunity you've been given to do one thing or the other? How do you do it? How have you been doing it? Are you really giving value in terms of service to the company that employed you based on the money that you're getting as remuneration? Are you really giving value for value? That's just where I'm going.
Makes sense. It's been 27 minutes right now. And, we've been talking. The call has not been dropping. Maybe to somebody listening to this will be like, what are you talking about? You get what I'm saying?
Fantastic.
What do you have to say to that?
Now, this happens one in how many? No,
that's
you can
right.
just calculate. No,
maybe
you do the judgment for me. This happens one in how many?
No, I agree. I had to send you my call log yesterday to let you know how many times I've called you. And I agree with you. In the interest of that, to make it a little bit lighter, can you describe where you are calling from and what we agreed for you to call? Where are you calling from right now? I mean, what's your location? Do you have to go to a cell tower at the top of the building, just have a good reception?
I'm in the comfort of my bedroom.
Okay.
I'm in the comfort of my bedroom as I speak to you. So it's not as if I'm looking for any reception to get my calls clear to you. Do you understand?
Right.
But the fact is, it happens one in how many millions?
Right.
That's what I want you to check. One in how many millions?
I know we've tried to describe this problem again and again. We're not going to finish it today. It seems to me like there's not really good accountability. Nobody's holding anybody accountable for anything they do. And at the end of the day, the consumer are the one that are going to be,
they bear the drop.
Suffering from this. But let me now ask you, after this conversation, somebody pulled you and say, okay, Emmanuel, you've described the problem. Now tell me, what do you think is the solution here?
That's a deep one.
How do we move forward?
That's a deep one. My problem is this, in this nation that I speak to you, where I reside, where I was born, where I have lived over 40 years. My problem is fix it. I wish I could use the hashtag for it. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. If you come back home from work and you're so tired, only to see your son shivering, covered in a blanket. Oh, the first thing that comes to your mind is, I can't lose you, my son. The next thing that comes to your mind is, this should be malaria. The next thing that comes to your mind is, where is the next hospital? Oh, I have an NHIS package that I pay through my salary. Okay, what's the proximity? How do I take him there? I don't have a car. I start putting all of that together. But don't forget, what came to my mind first was, I can't lose you. So in the mix of I can't lose you, I'm now facing an enormous task of what to do, where to go, how close, proximity. Oh, even in my pocket, my account balance is so low. What will be the bill? So fix it. Hashtag, fix it. That's it.
Fix it. That makes sense.
When my problem is fixed, my brother, I will not put my burden on my elder ones asking for help, or my friends asking for help, or my in-laws. Do you know it's that bad sometimes that your in-law has to come to your rescue for financial reasons? Now tell me, what will be going through his mind or her mind? That, and this guy has my sister in the house and he's asking me for help, or he needs help. Sometimes you don't even ask. You just see it that this guy needs help. Do you know how they see it or feel it? It is when their own sister, who happens to be your own wife, is getting back at them to say, bro, things are not easy. It means that they are, in a way, conditioned to start thinking or probing into asking their sisters questions like, so what happened to your husband? Can he come to your help? And she feels like, he's trying. Only for Jokaloni, in the Yoruba parlance, they say the water is more than the flour. We call a particular flour oka amala that we turn, and so only for Jokaloni, water is more than the flour, so it becomes messy. So let's fix it. If it's messy, let's fix it. So by the time she gives that impression, even your in-law starts teaching you that, it's not too well with this guy. But if they fix it, will I give him any problem? Yes, they will only be thinking about how do we meet and have fun and just, everybody's fine. So
I hear you, brother.
To make you understand that fixing it is just what I want. Because if they fix it, I won't even bother you for a time.
I hear you, brother.
If they fix it, if they fix it, you will also be proud. It's not about taking it to the government. I'm taking it to the average citizen. Because if you can fix the malaria of your child, eventually after going all through the myriad of problems, well, you still have your son. And your son
I hear you too well.
It means you are able to fix it. So if you could fix the malaria of your child, who is trusting you as a parent to make sure that he gets off this malaria?
I hear you so much.
And then we should fix the bigger picture. The bigger picture is the nation. The bigger picture is that organization that has refused to give service, or yet swindling our people. Okay, I will give you a particular story. In September 2020, in the heat of the COVID, do you know that I was burning data like water? Well, I give it to the network I'm using anyway. I burn 1 gigabyte for 200 naira, so it's interesting. But I burn data. Now, in the course of recharging 200 naira, standard recharge now amounted to 1,000 naira in 1 day because of the COVID lockdown. Could you believe I got a call from my network provider in September 2020 that I've just won myself an Android phone? This was a call that I picked reluctantly because they were calling me about the third time. My wife now said, because I guess it's from my network provider. What if they want to tell me that to advertise all their services? And she said, no. What if they want to tell you something? And I picked up that call. And I was told I won an Android phone. My brother, I never see the Android update now. This is April 2021. We can still fix it. We're not failed yet. Do you understand? Talking about it. Now, as an individual, if you are into the service business, give value for value. Value for value. If you give value for value, you're fixing. And I'll speak to you now. I'm sweating. You know why? Because there's no light. Yet, I'm a subscriber. I pay regularly.
Well, brother, we're going to have to hang you out there. I really appreciate, this is really enlightening for me. I think a lot of times when you step out of the country and you begin to enjoy what you should be enjoying as a human being, government providing, private industry providing it, like you said, you're getting the value for your money of whatever you buy and stuff like that. You may begin to forget how it is in your motherland. And I think we have to create a forum so that when we live, the way we see ourselves living, we need to kind of begin to have a conversation on how can we, go back and kind of reminisce on some of these things. And ultimately, I think, honestly, it is good to kind of brainstorm on what the issue is, but ultimately, we should actually be looking for what the solution is. So it was so nice and exhilarating talking to you, brother. And I'm going to be speaking to you soon.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Right,
I appreciate you for calling. And together, let's fix it.
Yes, thank you. I like that. So it's okay. Let's fix it.
When we fix it, we have peace of mind, and the world is going to be a wonderful place.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you for talking to me.
No problem, sir. Have a good one. Talk to you later.